Whoa, jingle! Happy time has just begun. Brother, sister, smart, dumb, fun. Yeah!
Oh, hello there, Ann Brothers.
Hi, Jenny Brothers. What's up?
Well, I'm gonna do a show with my sister. What are you doing? Punch it out. It's a stork that punches, or is it a pelican? It's a pelican.
I think it's a pelican.
I think it's a pelican. For those of you that can't see, Ann has a toy that I gave her, and it's a skeleton, or it's like a little pen thing. It's a pen, and it's a toy. Form and function, which is how I basically live my life. I live my life looking for things that are form and function. For instance, dinosaur lamps, you know.
Me too, Jenny. Hence all of the owl lamps.
Correct. Yes, form and function. Fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Happy Sunday. It is the 14th of September. Nearly halfway through September already, and where does the time go?
I know. Time flies when it does.
When. It just flies when.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, yeah, we're in it now. I kind of feel like, school year has started. We're in it now. We had our first full week of school this week. The honeymoon's over. Yeah, it's over.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a long week this week. This might have been the longest week ever.
Oof.
It was the longest week. Yeah. This week was the longest year of my life. Is that how that goes?
It's been the longest week so far for school.
For school, yes. So yeah. So there you go. So it's feeling very September-y. Yeah, there you have it. So yeah. So I know I don't have much to say today. I've been feeling a little bit down today. Sunday does that to you when you're a teacher. It just sort of sucks. So
today was a great day for me, Jenny. I loved today.
Mm-hmm.
Sunday was awesome.
Good job, Ann. Yep, good job, Ann Brothers. Yes. So, awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, here we are. At least we're going to talk about something really cool today, and that helps. That helps a lot. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to talk about the Michigan Maritime Museum. Now, yes, we talked about this a couple of weeks ago, but we talked with Bailey Sisoy-Moore, the executive director of the museum, and then we actually went to the museum last Saturday, excuse me, and we actually got the chance to really dig in, and we spent the better part of the day there. I mean, we really did. We got there like right after it opened, and then we spent some time there, and then we left and had some lunch. Then we came back and we spent more time there. It was an easy place to spend the day, and I could see myself spending more entire Saturdays there, or evenings, or weekends, or whatever. So, so yeah, it's there you go. So
there you go.
It got hot again, and I'm not sure if I'm okay with that. I got really into my whole hey, let's do this. So yeah. But that's okay. We had false fall. Now we have real-ish summer coming again. So,
yeah, I think it's going to be. Let's see. Until next Saturday, it's supposed to be in the 80s all week.
Yeah, Michigan Storm Chasers was saying that we might flirt with 90 this week, and I'm like,
wow,
oh man, I know.
Yeah, I was going to say it's going to be in the mid 80s here. Yeah, Thursday maybe it's going to be 85 here, but I bet in Kalamazoo it gets a little bit warmer, and then it's going back down into the 70s. On the 28th, it's going to be 69. So
okay, that's better. That's more like it. That's what I'm talking about. So I'm ready for my fall temperatures. I myself am not super into summer. I know everybody's like summer, yes, and I'm like I don't like to be crazy hot. I'd rather just be a little chilly and put on a sweater. That's my thing. So
Cool.
I probably have said that before. So, on the good news is, I'm no longer having copious amounts of diarrhea. Yes, I went through a solid week of some sort of stomach infection. I got to tell you, it didn't hit me while I was living with it, but it sure hit me this week. Maybe that's part of how I'm feeling. Is I still don't feel 100%. I went like on a little walk run I went out for about a half hour today just to see how my legs felt, and they did not feel good. They did not feel good one bit. So,
Ugh.
yeah.
Well,
Look, it's Marla Larla's here.
did you ever go to the doctor? Did you ever, or did you
I
start
went to
to
the
feel better?
doctor, and they basically prescribed me some like super strength Imodium, which was fine. It
Hmm.
worked fine, but I
Hmm.
only took like one dose, and then that was it. Because I think I was pretty much on the tail end of it at that point. So,
That's good.
oh, he was a sweet kitty. So, anyway, yeah, so great, so super great.
Hmm.
Hey, let's talk about more other stuff besides other than
Sure.
my bowel tract. Here we go. Hey, do you wanna do you wanna take us through the well? I know I am off today. Look at me, I am just off today, and I've been like
Hmm.
this. I got mad at Joe for cleaning the basement. Like he's been like working like a trooper, redoing our basement. I'm like, it's not what I want, and I'm like, oh my god.
What's wrong with me? Sorry, I feel bad about having such a great day because it was awesome.
It's
Anyway,
not your fault. Yes.
all right.
Yes, Nancy Garman is catching this. Yes, I went through she caught the irony there in my statement. A solid week of diarrhea. Thank you, Nancy. Yes, that is correct.
Good job. Good job. Thanks, Nancy.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Nancy,
Nancy, for
for
bringing the
being
smart.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, bringing the smart. Yo, let's go.
Mhm.
Okay. Anyway, I have something to talk about. Well, I'll get to. I didn't put it down as my smart, dumb, fun thing, but I want to talk about it anyway. We'll get there. Okay.
Okay.
Anyway, and give us the welcome and the welcome back, unless you want me to do it this week.
No, I'm happy to. We're Ann
Do
and
it.
Janice brothers. We're sisters. Our last name is Brothers. Sorry, not sorry if you are confused. So,
Sorry, not sorry.
sorry, not sorry.
Sorry.
So anyway, we're in our 50s, Gen X, which means that body shaming ourselves is in our DNA. It's not something that we can like eject or be like suddenly feel like I feel good about myself. Nope, it's in our DNA to shame our bodies. I'm sorry, body. My body works really hard for me, and I'm not very nice to it.
Um, yeah, I would say that I've made a national pastime out of hating my body.
Mhm,
So yeah,
mhm,
we're good. And you know what? Yay for the millennials and the little Gen
mhm.
Zers because they're so body positive. They're like,
I know.
they're just like, yeah, I look great in this bikini, and I look awesome in my super short shorts, and I have no problem showing the boobies.
Mhm.
So I'm like,
Exactly.
I have a short sleeve shirt on, and I don't even like showing my arms. Okay, I would have made an awesome Puritan,
Exactly.
I think.
Yeah,
No, wait,
exactly.
that's
Me
not
too.
true. That's a lie. I would not actually have ever made a good Puritan. That's not true.
No, I would have made it terrible. Terrible. I would have definitely gotten drowned or burned for being a witch. So
Yeah, I would have. Yeah,
terrible
we
one.
both were. Well, we both would have been witches. So
Yeah,
yeah, we'd be like sister witches. Let's go.
exactly. So anyway, we talk about smart stuff, dumb stuff, fun stuff, or any
Mm,
combination of the three in our little
mhm.
podcast. We are not cool, hip, or sexy. We would have to give up too many of the foods that we love, and we would still fail at being cool, hip, or sexy. So we don't even try. And I was like,
Well,
because cool, hip, and sexy people don't have like a full like thesis on corn dogs.
they
So
do not. They do not. They
mhm,
could not tell you good corn dog from bad corn dog.
exactly.
And frankly, it doesn't matter as far as I'm concerned how many of the foods that I love I give up because if you've ever seen a picture of my family, both sides, you know that we are a short, squatty, hobbit-like group of people who are as tall as we are wide.
Yeah.
And man, I'm just tired of fighting that sort of battle. I am tired of fighting my genetic battle when it comes to my body. It is exhausting.
And I just want to be a hobbit who lives in a really cool hole and eats bread with lots of butter and honey on it. So,
Oh, I've been meaning to ask you. You and Duncan listened to The Hobbit on
mhm.
where you were driving somewhere. What did you? I still think that's one of my favorite. It's still one of my top two favorite books ever. Am I crazy or is that just a really fun book?
No, it's a great book. In fact, I had listened to it myself, and then when we went to Duluth, which is a long drive from Chelsea, Michigan, we
It
listened
is.
to it, and I was like, the first time I listened to it, I'm like, for like 2 weeks, all I could do was eat bread and butter with honey on it.
Isn't the scene the chapter where they go to Beorn's
Mhm.
is my favorite chapter in the whole book, and I knew that even when I was 10 years old that was my favorite part of the book, and
Mhm.
I just wanted to eat butter and honey on bread until I died. Honest to
Yeah,
God, it's so good.
yeah.
And
When they have
cheese
the whole
and cheese and bread
cheese.
and honey and bread and meat and bread and cheese.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. When Gandalf was like putting away all that bread and honey and butter, I was like, damn, I want to be Gandalf, So yeah,
I
it's
want
a
to be
great.
Gandalf for many reasons. So yeah.
Exactly. No, it's still a great book. So if you have not read The Hobbit, it's not a very long book. I
It's not.
100% recommend it. And then I recommend it. You give it to anybody in your life who's never read it, because it's a great story.
It's a great story, and it was a difference maker when I was a kid, because it made me want to be an adventurer and an outdoor girl, and it made me do things that I maybe wouldn't have done otherwise, because
Mhm.
Bilbo was such a good role model when it came to finding the way outside your comfort zone. I mean, he gets thrown out of his comfort zone, and then he finds ways to get better and better at existing in those zones.
Mhm.
And yeah, I absolutely love that book. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
It was one of the first chapter books I read. I was a very, very late reader because of my dyslexia. So it was one of the first chapter books that I had ever read. And I was afraid to start reading it because I was afraid I wouldn't be able to read it. And so when I was able to read it and understand it and read the whole book, it was very, I couldn't believe that, that I was capable. So when I was a seventh grader, about 13, when I did that, and after that, I became a voracious reader because I realized that that I could do it, that I could actually do it. So yeah, it was influential for me, but for a really different reason. But yeah, it's a great story. I mean, it's classic. It's a classic story. It's like the hero's journey. It's a classic hero's journey, and God, it's just a great story. So, and you know what? And dwarves are petty.
Oh yeah, they are.
Dwarves are super petty. So in case you didn't know that, yeah, I was like, as I was listening to it again as an adult, I was like, damn, dwarves are bitches.
They are. They are. And Thorin was the biggest bitch ever.
Exactly. So anyway. All right, so we digress. We are not a true crime, celebrity, or influencer podcast. I guess we could be a Lord of the Rings podcast, I guess, but mostly just The Hobbit.
Please don't make me read Lord of the Rings again. That's a whole nother story.
That's a whole
in more ways than one.
The Hobbit, definitely, but Lord of the Rings, I was like, ugh. Anyway, so we're not a true crime, celebrity, or influencer podcast. There's plenty of that already. So, why dip our toe into it? Sometimes we do a little bit, like we'll dip in for being at least true crime, but Jenny and I could never be celebrities or influencers. So, we'll let the professionals do that. We've been told we're good to listen to when you want to learn things about stuff. And because, as Jenny mentioned, summer is back. So listening to our podcast while you mow the lawn yet again. It's not over.
Yeah, it is not over. Honestly, in Michigan anymore with the climate change, that's not climate change. You can mow your yard well into November now. I mean, I don't, but you can.
Yeah.
So
yeah, you can totally. This podcast is not GPG or even PG-13. However, we are going to try to be on our best behavior today because we both want to get jobs at Michigan Maritime Museum. So we want to seem professional.
Rats. Okay, I'm going to have to edit what I say at the end of the podcast then. Oops.
Okay. All right. So join us on our website, Spotify, Apple Podcast, not Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, YouTube, and Amazon Music. See, that's one of the foods I'd have to give up is apple pie. Any pie. I don't want to give up pie. I don't want to give up cake, especially cake. So
pie is good.
Pie is good. Like us, follow us, hit the bell, and leave us a review, a good review, because we're not going to read the bad reviews. So you might as well just make it good. Give us your feedback with our questions and answers and our polls. And of course, if you forget, just ask Alexa and she'll remind you all about us.
I love that.
Mm-hmm, me too.
Yeah, Alexa. We gave Alexa an English accent, and I don't think I like it. I think we're going to make Alexa go back to her regular American accent. I don't know. Yeah. I feel like, I always feel like Alexa's judging me, and then with her English accent, I feel like she's judging me more because the English are better than us, and they know it. Mm-hmm. And then she's like, "Oh, really? You want me to set a timer? You can't just count to 30 yourself, And you're like,
okay, come on, just all right, never mind.
Do fine. Yes,
I'm sorry, Alexa.
Alexa, even though we still like you, yes, you should absolutely join us. Share, like on Spotify, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music. Yes, please put the word out to your family, friends, people you like, people you don't like. People you don't like. If you find us annoying, then definitely share us with people you don't like, and we can share the annoyingness with them. You're welcome. You can use us you can weaponize the brother sisters. Okay.
Yeah, you might as well.
I would totally agree. I would totally agree. All right, let's talk about our smart, dumb, fun stuff that happened this week, and we are going to start with you. Bust that baby out. Hang on, I'm going to put this thing back out here. We're going to put it. Yes, there it is.
There it is.
Yeah, that's just
So,
tight, man.
from my gift bucket, I won't say the real
Mhm.
name of it because we're trying to be good today. Jenny got me this awesome pen, again, form and function, and it's a boxing. It's a boxing pelican, so I named him Big Mouth Slim. So yeah, he floats, does all the stuff with his and then of course it's a pen, so I can also write things with it.
You can sign important documents with your Pelican pen, Ann Brothers.
If one of my students had walked in with one of these when I was teaching, I'd be like, ugh.
Oh yeah, because literally you're lost.
Yeah.
There will be you'll hear the clicking noise all the entire class period. B, the other kids will want to play with it.
And they still won't write anything.
They still won't write anything. And then finally they will end the class by either breaking it themselves and having a meltdown, or having one of their friends break it and have a meltdown, or have somebody that they don't like who breaks it and then said meltdown.
Said meltdown. The meltdown, the meltdown is a foregone conclusion.
Yes. The only way that they're not going to have a meltdown, well, they are going to, if you take the pen and just say, look, I'm going to hang on to this so that you'll have it for later, then they're going to have a meltdown. But honestly, you will preserve it and you will give them an extra hour with their beloved pen. So otherwise,
they'll break it.
They're just going to break it. Yeah. They're going to break it.
It's just going to break it. Yeah. So this was my smart, dumb, fun this week. I mean, I had a lot of fun stuff this week, but this was amazing. So in case you didn't get a really good look at it. So there you go.
Very good.
Okay.
All right. For me, my smart, dumb, fun was the Lions, who got smoked last week by the Packers. And everybody was panicking, like, they're going to go 0-2. Well, fortunately, they were playing the Bears, who suck cheese. And the Bears, in fact, sucked today. And the Lions beat them 52-21. And it wasn't that close. So...
No, I was going to say, wow, if you're a professional team, you should not let any other team get into the 50s. Unless you are also in the 50s, you know.
And it was also very satisfying because the new coach for the Chicago Bears is Ben Johnson, and he was the offensive coordinator for the Lions last year. And I do not begrudge Ben Johnson going out and getting a head coaching job. Good for him. But I do begrudge him going out and getting a coaching job within the NFC North. Screw that guy. That's what I say. I'm like, come on, man. So I was not unhappy to see them pull down Ben's proverbial pants and give him a proverbial paddling on the buttocks. So the Lions faithful had some things to say to Ben Johnson in unison because they were at Ford Field today. And it might have gone something like this. Bleep Ben Johnson. Bleep Ben Johnson. And the word sounds like muck or cluck or duck or truck.
Exactly. It's very catchy. I could see where that would really catch on.
Okay, the other one is this. Jeff Hiller, we are thinking about you today as the Emmys are today. We are rooting for you for Best Supporting Actor in a Comedy Series for his work as Joel in the series Somebody Somewhere on HBO, which unfortunately will not, I mean, they had 3 really great seasons. They ended it after the 3rd season, which is a little bit heartbreaking, but we are rooting for you. We love you, and your book is great. So there you go. All right, go get him tonight. All right, so this is my other... Go ahead, Ann.
I need to read that book so that we can talk about it.
Yes, I would actually really like to talk about that book because I feel like Jeff is one of those... we are all cut from the same cloth. We have some like thinking for sure, especially the whole body shaming thing. That's for sure. And food is therapy, so for sure.
Food is therapy.
Or food is addiction, or food as food instead of booze or drink. So, you know. Yeah. All right. So, Anne, we were at this is the other thing I wanted to talk about real quick before we ask a bunch of questions. I want you to consider, what would you ever want to go to, like, adult camp? Like, because I think we're going to try and talk the nice people at Pretty Lake Camp into having fundraising by having a series of adult, like, weekend camps, like Camp for Grown-ups. And I think it would be really fun.
I have to admit that I would at least go once because I am curious. And I've often said that I can't wait to go to a senior living facility because it's like camp.
Right. And
So,
I think
yeah.
it would be fun to have weekend camp where you show up and you play pickleball and you knit and you do arts and crafts and you can go canoeing if you want or snowshoeing. So it would be like winter camp, but without all the work, without all the learning. So unless we wanted to learn.
Yeah. No, Jenny, that sounds amazing. I would,
Yeah.
when you say, I'm just like, oh, I like to knit. I like to canoe. I've never played pickleball, but it looks like
But
fun.
it is stupid fun. And this is the best part, that if you go to this camp and you pay your money to go to your 2-night, 3-day excursion to camp, 20% of your admission fee goes to the free camp that they have for kids in the summertime. So not
See, and
only
I'm a
could you go
sucker
to
for
camp
that.
and have a good time, but you're camping for a purpose because you're helping raise money so that a huge group of kids that would never be able to go to camp get to go to camp for a whole week in the summertime. So
Yeah. I would totally
that's
go.
what's yeah.
Totally go. And
I
I
think
might even be
people
able to
would.
talk a few people I know into doing it. We definitely get Jeannie
Okay.
to go. Jeannie, if you're watching, you're going to adult camp with us.
You're going to grown-up camp. That's what we're going to call it. We're going to call it grown-up camp.
Grown-up
Grown-up camp.
camp. And my friend Amy, you're going to grown-up camp with us. So there's
Okay.
two people right
Yeah.
there that I can think of.
Okay.
Dawn, you are totally freaking going to grown-up camp with us.
If you hear this podcast and you're interested in going to grown-up camp, let me know because I feel there is a market for this. And I think it's a great way to raise money for Pretty Lake Camp to get a pile of kids to camp this summer for absolutely free. Let's do it. Let's help this camp raise money. This is a great way to do it. Let's go. Okay. Hey,
Yeah.
let's get on with it, shall we? Let's talk about why we're here. Let's talk about the Michigan Maritime Museum. And it is I'm going to say, just a really great place. I'm going to throw this up there, put it back on the page. All right. So, Anne, we decided to do this question style. So before we do this question style, I'm going to talk a little bit about the museum, a little bit of history, a little bit of stuff that we learned, and then we'll get to our questions. Okay. All right. So the first thing, here's some stuff that you should know about the Michigan Maritime Museum. It is a museum and a research library. It is located in South Haven, Michigan. The museum is located next to Dykeman Avenue, next to the drawbridge on the Black River. It's just not even a mile in from Lake Michigan. The museum specializes in maritime history, and it also the maritime history of the state of Michigan, and the Great Lakes themselves. It includes 5 buildings with a 6th soon to be opening. They're opening a new building on commercial fishing, which I think is fascinating. So they have the 5 buildings. They use them for display, interpretation, repair, preservation of Michigan's maritime heritage. And there's 4 boats that take visitors on water. And those 4 boats are, the first one this is probably the sexiest one. This is the one that gets the most press, is the Friends Goodwill. It's a replica 1810 topsail sloop. And it was built essentially as a way to get cargo from Detroit to the markets on the other side of Lake Erie. So, and that's it was we had a really good history. Captain Bob was kind enough to take us through the history, which is really fascinating. And I'm a sucker for old timey maps, and he pulled out the old timey map, and I was like, "Yay, old timey map with funky looking Michigan!"
It was super cool.
Yeah. And we unfortunately did not get to take. We were actually slated to go on the Friends Goodwill. We didn't get to go out on the boat because it was super windy last week, and the lake was sitting at 12-foot waves on Friday and probably 8-foot waves on Saturday. And because the channel isn't well dredged, and the Friends Goodwill has the risk of bottoming out in big water, so they didn't take it out. Which is now normally if that channel was properly dredged, they could take it out in big wind because that's what it's designed for. So, it's a sailboat.
Yeah.
So,
it's designed for sailing.
It's designed for sailing. So that's one. The next one, and this is the one we did get to go on, and this was actually really loved this. I was actually really glad we got to do this. We got to go out on the Lindy Lou. The Lindy Lou is an electric powered replica and river launch. And so it's this quiet little slow moving boat, and they take you up the Black River. It's an hour-long trip, so it's about a half hour upriver and about a half hour back. And it is genuinely pleasant. If you're an old person that doesn't like to go fast, Guilty.
Yeah. It's like,
That
what,
it's
go
perfect.
slow and see turtles? Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it was awesome because it's the weekend after Labor Day, so it's kind of quiet. There's people there, but there's not a ton of people. The river, we had basically had the river to ourselves. There was a few bachelorette parties here and there, but you go back in and you go through all of the docks that through the harbor there, and I got to tell you, I had no idea there was so much stuff back on the Black River.
Mhm.
And the captain kind of tells you the history, and he talks about these were the launches. Essentially, these were water taxis back in the day when the steamships would come from Chicago. They would drop people off in the South Haven in the harbor there, and then people would take the water taxis upriver, and there was like a boatload of resorts up there,
Mhm.
resorts for gambling and dancing and drinking and funning,
Yeah.
and and so it was really great to be able to do that. It's a really pretty little a little jaunt up the river, and it's kind of fun to imagine all of these cool resorts that must have been up here. All of them burned down during the Depression, but but
Surprise! Amazingly, they all burned down.
they all burned down. What happened? So when things Prohibition and the Depression basically wrecked all of these resorts, and then they mysteriously burnt down, one
Mhm.
by one. But it was still
Mhm.
fun to sit and imagine that. So that's the second boat that you can take. The next one is the United States Coast Guard Motor Lifeboat 36460, and these are really cool. This is the most widely used rescue boat in Coast Guard history, and these things are like little submarines. It's like
Mhm.
these things are built for the weather. They have a sealed interior so that you could literally roll that baby over 360 degrees and it's not going to take on water.
Yeah.
They're impressive. So
Mhm.
you get to see those kind of up close because they have them in one of their outbuildings. You can see one, and it's neat. It's really
Mhm.
cool. So, and then there's the Maritime, which is a 1929 Chris Craft Cadet, and this is one that they take on the river, and they also take this one on the lake as well, as long as the lake is not super bouncy. So,
Yeah,
and
it's
you can
the kind of boat you want to drink wine and sample cheese, you know?
yes, thank you.
Uh,
Well, and this is one of because you can actually charter the Maritime and you can also charter the Mary Lou. You can private charter both of those so that if you wanted to after hours, you could charter those and go on an evening excursion.
mhm.
So
Which I
that would be fun.
totally want to do, Jenny.
I know. I would like some meat and some cheese because we already
Uh-huh.
talked about my obsession with meat or with cheese and bread and honey and butter and stuff. So I'm like, I would
Exactly. I
eat
was
all
like,
that on a boat.
yeah,
Would you
let's do
eat it
that.
on a boat? Would you eat it while you float? I would eat cheese here or there. I would eat cheese anywhere.
Exactly. Yeah. See,
That just
not
happened.
cool,
Okay.
hip, or sexy people, in case you didn't know, because Jenny just made a rhyme about eating cheese.
I did. And I did it Dr. Seuss style.
Yeah,
Yeah, let's
exactly.
go.
Ooh, nice job.
Oh Lord.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Sorry. All right. Anyway, anywho, so now that you know something about the boats, we're going to do a little back and forth. 10 questions about the Michigan Maritime Museum. All
Mhm.
right, and I'm going to bring us back in close up so people can see our serious facial expressions about how we feel about the Michigan Maritime Museum. And Anne, this first question is for you.
Mhm.
Okay, if you could volunteer or work, what would you like to do at the Michigan Maritime Museum?
Well, I'm going to say that if I was working at Michigan Maritime Museum, yeah. I would like to work in the education. They have in their education area. They bring in kids, a lot of fourth graders, because it's part of their Michigan curriculum.
So jealous.
I know. I'm like, I would love
Right.
to do that. But you know what I would also love to do? And I would do this as a employee or a volunteer. I would love to learn about all the ghost stories and creepy stories and weird stories because big bodies of water always have, and boats always have, you know, weird, creepy things that they see. And anyway, I would love to like gather a bunch of those stories and do like a story time thing, or like if they had like a bonfire, that sort of thing.
Ooh, that's a
No,
good
so
idea.
if anybody from Michigan Maritime Museum is listening, I would love to be able to do that as an employee, but even as a volunteer. So that would be, because then I could research all that and collect those stories and tell those stories. I think it would be so fun. And then I could dress in like an old timey costume.
You could dress as a witch. I love that for you.
Exactly. So I just think that would be fun. I think their education, the thing is I don't know a ton about it because that was not something we really focused on, but there's always, you can always broaden and strengthen any education part of your museum. And I would love to be a part of that, either as an employee or a volunteer. I think that would be really, really cool and fulfilling. So I think I could do that.
Nice. I love that
Mhm.
for you.
Yeah.
Yes. All right. So, Anne, this is a question you had for me.
Jenny, how would you describe the Michigan Maritime Museum? Because it's not like a lot of museums that I've been to.
It is not. You have to be prepared to go inside and outside. I would
Mhm,
describe it. I would describe it as God, a full experience museum because
mhm,
if you go to let me give you an example of one of my favorite museums, which is the Art Institute of Chicago. You go in, it's inside, you give them your coat, you tour. There's, inside the different floors and stuff. I would say this one you have to. There's so many different little things to look at. Um, there's the whole steamship uh, exhibit that you can go into that takes you back to the steamships that used to come up from Chicago into South Haven. Um, you go out to and tour, even if you're not taking like the Friends Goodwill out on the water, you can still go and tour the boat and look at it. You have different buildings to look at. There's history to look at. Um, it's interactive. If you didn't want a history at all, if you just wanted to sit upstairs by the fire and read a book and drink a cup of coffee, you could do that. If you wanted to just sit out on one of the balconies and enjoy the fresh air and, you know, look out on the harbor, you could do that. It's many things. I would say that's the thing that struck me about it is that it's this many things museum. So
mhm.
many experiences depending on what you want to do and how you want to do it.
I would agree. It's like a hands-on museum that's not advertised as a hands-on museum.
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah,
Interactive,
excellent.
yes. So,
It is. It is indeed. All
mhm.
right, Ann Brothers, your next question. Here it is. All right. If someone is going to go to the museum and take a boat ride, what should they know about the boats before they go?
Well, I guess you would want to know what kind of experience you want to have. If you're somebody who is not really an outdoor person, then I would suggest like the little water taxi would be the best option for you. It's slow moving. It's easy to get on and off of. So if you have mobility issues, it's an easier ride for that. You're not going to get seasick if you go on that. If you're looking for an adventure, I would definitely suggest the Friends Goodwill because you're going out onto the Great Lake. You're going out onto Lake Michigan, and it is a sailboat. So and it's not a huge ship, so it's going to be bouncy. You're probably going to get wet. You might want to bring like something waterproof to put over you because it's very possible, even on a really nice day, that there's going to be spray that gets on you. You may have to stand. If you go downstairs in the Friends Goodwill into the hull or you have to like be able to get up and down ladders. So you might want to think, if you have mobility issues or that's just not really your thing, you don't want the sun beating down on you and all this wind in your hair, then that might not be for you. But if you really want to experience, something from the 1800s, boy, you're going to have a great time and everybody's going to take pictures as you go through the channel and out to the lake because the ship is so beautiful. And you're also going to learn a ton about how these ships work. And that's true for any of them. If you are somebody who's, into the code or was like, wants to know like how people get rescued or how boats are, God, you almost have to go on all four of them so you can see how each one is adapted to what it needed to do. So the Friends Goodwill was based on something that carried cargo. The Coast Guard one was something that was based on saving people in the Great Lakes. One was a water taxi and the other one was a pleasure cruiser. So, what do you want? What kind of history do you want to learn? What kind of mobility do you have? What would you enjoy the most? If you don't think you're going to enjoy rocking on the Great Lake, then don't take the pleasure
Well,
cruise.
And if you're hanging out on the deck of Friends Goodwill, there's no place to sit down.
Yeah.
You're out there, you're standing. So
You're
just
standing
keep
for
that in
90
mind.
minutes.
So
Yeah, you're standing
yeah.
for 90 minutes. And and there's no place to, like the one that we went on, has like an awning over it, so the sun's not beating down on you. It's very lovely. So,
It's so pleasant.
so pleasant. Yeah, so it depends on what you're looking for. And it might be just depend on the day. Like some days I just want to sit and have turtles, sunbathing in front of me. And some days I want to feel the wind in my teeth, so
Action-packed. You want it to be action-packed, Pee-wee. So there you go.
action-packed. So yeah, so just do a little research and then be flexible, because like Jenny and I said, we were supposed to go on the Friends Goodwill and the weather was not cooperating. So be flexible that you might be going on you might be having a different experience, but it's still going to be fabulous.
It's true.
Mhm.
Right. This was one of the questions, Anne, that you had for me.
What surprised you about the Michigan Maritime Museum?
Well, number one, I can't believe how soft muskrat fur is.
Oh my
Okay.
gosh, I know.
I know.
So beautiful.
Baby soft. Okay, I know that may seem, but okay. So when you go on the Friends Goodwill, and the captain takes you downstairs, and you get the little history lesson, and then you go into the hold where they would keep all the beaver and muskrat pelts. They have some samples sitting out there, so you can actually feel what beaver and muskrat feel like. And beaver is very soft, and muskrat is even softer. And it was shockingly soft. I'm like, I didn't even know. So there you go.
Mhm.
Yeah, that. Okay, so that was one. Okay, I don't want to dwell on that. What
Mhm.
surprised me about the museum is how pristine and high tech, and there has been substantial money that has gone into that museum, and it is a beautiful facility. I was not prepared for it is just sleek and sharp, and they have like a beautiful room, like a banquet facility. They have beautiful office spaces that are high tech and have all the bells and whistles. There is not a blade of grass out of place there. The bathrooms are spotless. It is
The
you go
doors
out-
open out when you go into the bathroom.
Out.
Open out, not in.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. So you don't have to like play, get splashed by the toilet as you're trying to wedge your way out of the toilet. I know it's little things like that, but little things make big things. I say that all the time. And it is the place, the facility is spotless and beautiful and tidy. And it just, the amount of care and love that goes into that. I was not prepared for how magnificent it is. So that's what surprised me most, was that A, how fun and cool and interactive it was, and B, just how much the people that care about this museum care deeply for it in every way, shape, and form. And I loved being around that. It's infectious.
Yeah. I thought we were going to be walking into a pole barn, and it was gorgeous. Just the artwork, and just like the artifact.
Oh yeah, the artwork. Yes.
Oh, man, it was like, I'm like, if I worked for a company in South Haven, I'm like, let's have our meeting there, because it was just, man, it was a beautiful, beautiful place.
It's banging. Yeah,
banging.
It is banging, yo, for sure. All right, Ann Brothers, your next question. All right, so our first trip there was very much sort of a get to know me sort of experience. What will your next trip to the museum look like?
Well, I imagine the next time I go there, they're probably like, we saw an exhibit, a big steamship exhibit that you walk through, interactive steam exhibit. And I have a feeling that's going to be changing up soon. So that's probably their exhibit area that changes up more often. I would love to do, see what is going to be new with that. I want to take another boat ride. This one, either on the Friends Goodwill or on the little pleasure craft boat. Either one I would be fine with. And even if I did like the other, the little water taxi, again, I'd do that again in a hot second. But you know what I would love to do is that, Bailey was talking about how they have like lectures, like lunch lectures. I would love to do that. I think that would be fascinating. Give you a chance. In fact, I would, now that I'm a member of the Michigan Maritime Museum, I would love that to be, if they could figure out a way to broadcast it or something, or, make it into a podcast, I would listen to that, because I live on the other side of the state and it's not very easy for me to get over there, and I still have to have a job. So, it's like, it doesn't happen very often, but if they did a podcast of that, where they did put the lecture on podcast, I would subscribe to it and listen to it every week, because I think, I love it when people tell me stories, and and that's one of the things I really loved about our visit, was that it was people telling me stories, about this place and about Michigan and about the Michigan water, and it was a great way to learn. So that's what I would do. I would take another boat ride. I would look forward to the next exhibit, their next special exhibit that they have, and I would do the lectures. I would definitely do that. So that's what I would do. And of course, it's just so beautiful there and then I would go have lunch again right next door and have more perch.
I know. What was that? It was, Captain Lou's? Is that what it's called?
I can't remember. I just remember.
I think it's called Captain. Wait, now I have to look it up. I'm like, hang on.
Yeah. Or maybe the fish tacos.
Yes, Captain Lou's. It is literally like right next door. It's practically on the same. It's practically on the same property.
Yeah.
So, and I did not have perch because I still was not feeling a hundy pee when we went to the museum. So yeah. I watched Dan eat perch.
I know. Perch is like one of my favorite fishes. So yeah, so awesome. It was, and that's one of the reasons why I got the membership, was because as soon as my day was over there, I was like, I can't wait to come back here. And so that's why I got the membership. So, and that's another thing, we talked about what you should know about the boats, is that a boat ride is not included with your entrance fees. So you can experience the whole museum and walk on the boats. But if you want to take a boat ride, that is extra.
Good to know. Excellent tip. Fun fact. All right, here's one of the questions, Anne, that you had for me.
Jenny, what was your favorite part of the Michigan Maritime Museum?
I liked my boat ride. I loved that. I loved being on the water. I like being on the water anyway. It's something you and we talked about this, that we love being on the water, though neither of us want to actually own a boat. We like riding other people's boats. And I like anything where I can let other people drive and I can look at stuff closely and kind of let my head sort of wander a little bit. And that's what I really loved about that. That was my favorite part. I like the fact that you can not only go to this museum, but you can go to that next step and experience something that's like this. And this type of boat, this electric type of boat, was the boats that they used when they first, and I'm excited to see this. They actually, when they did the Columbian Exposition, which is the 1890 Chicago World's Fair, 1894, I can't remember exactly, 1893, I can't remember what year it was. But these are the type of launches that those electric launches, this is similar to what they had. And these were kind of brand spanking new at the time when you were going out to the little wooded island at the World's Fair. And they actually have one of those that they're restoring right now that should be ready next summer. And I'm really looking forward to seeing that, because I didn't know what they looked like. And it was nice to be able to have like that picture in my head. So I was imagining myself being like, some lady, wearing my petticoat and all of my corset and all of my layers on one of these boats at the Columbian Exposition. I thought that was kind of dumb and fun in my head. So that's what I liked. It was my favorite part.
Yeah. So yeah, I can see that is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Indeed.
It was so cool.
I would agree. Okay. Anne, was there a display at the museum or a story we heard that really stuck with you, and why?
Well, one of the things that really stuck with me, when they were, oh man, there were so many things. Okay. So when Captain Chuck was talking about, us going, as we were taking our little boat ride up the river, and they were talking about these, these places where people would hang out, because Chicago is a crappy place in the summer. And so you would come to South Haven and go to these resorts up the river where it was cool and beautiful, and golf was not a thing. I didn't really, I just always thought golf was a thing in America, but it wasn't. At the time that these resorts were open, golf was not a big deal for Americans. What they did was they went dancing. And I was like, oh, can you imagine? Like there was like 9 resorts up there. So you would literally go to dances at all the different resorts. I'm like, how fun would that be? There would be so many costume changes. And I just thought that was hilarious. And then, on the opposite end of that spectrum, they had a fishing trawler, like what was it? Like a
commercial fishing boat.
Yeah, commercial fishing boat that was on land that you got to tour, and talk about a total opposite experience. I mean, these were all run by, Norwegians and Swedes, people who were used to it being cold and terrible. And it didn't matter, seemed to matter how horrible the weather was. They were out there breaking ice, fishing, losing fingers in their big wool sweaters. And, you look at these boats, and it's pretty much a space where you could maybe sleep, and pretty much it was just all fish and diesel and smell. It was just, Such the opposite.
I found myself wanting to get off that boat as fast as we could. I'm like, wow, I hate this. Wow, I already hate this.
Exactly. I was like,
Well, and
damn,
it's like, they fish from within these hulls. I'm like, they're not out on the decks. They're fishing from, and I'm just like, oh my God, it sucks in here so much. And it's like closed in, and there's like these little tiny windows that they fish out of. And I'm like, ugh, this makes me want to barf.
I know. It's like, so it's rocking back and forth and the ice is banging into it. And you're like, wow, all you can smell is is engine fuel and fish. It was such an opposite experience. And I was just like, man, that was fascinating to me. Do I want to go and do it? Hell no. But man, was it like the juxtaposition between these two identities in one town. They had this posh, where some of the wealthiest people in the world would come and vacation in the summer for months at a time. And then this fishing, commercial fishing boat where, man, it makes you want to go to college. It's just like, please don't.
Please don't make me do this for a living. Yeah,
exactly. I was like, talk about dangerous. Talk about, like I talk about, joke about losing a finger, but man, it was, it's like the whole, it's like, yeah, well, it's, 10 below zero. We're going out fishing and we'll probably die. Yeah. And that's what we do,
Ta-da. Yay.
Yeah.
All right.
So, and the other group is dancing. Yeah. So it was just, those were two of my favorite, my favorite stories of that museum.
Excellent.
Mm-hmm.
All right. A question that you had for me.
Jenny, what would you like to see added to the Michigan Maritime Museum, if anything?
I would like to see more. And I know it's a maritime museum, so I know this, but I don't know. I'm so fascinated by the history, the geologic history of the Great Lakes. I would love to see more about how we got these massive lakes in the middle of North America. Where they came from, our prospects for keeping them. Because if you look at the dangers of, Mom and Dad just walked in the door. Hello there. If you look at the dangers of losing the Great Lakes, I would like to see a little bit of a history of the Great Lakes, and B, how do we keep these things? I don't know. I don't know if that's part of the mission or not, but that's one of the things that interests me.
Well, without the geological wonder of the Great Lakes, we wouldn't have this history. And if we don't maintain them by, trying to restrict endangered or not endangered animals, but non-native species, and of course, pipelines.
Pipelines and. And it's interesting because I look at what's happened. I know I can't remember what part of Wisconsin. They have a huge I can't think of the name of it. It's what powers AI. They have these huge AI farms.
Mm-hmm.
And there's one of those going into Wisconsin somewhere not too far from the lake. They take a tremendous amount of electricity. They take a tremendous amount of resources, and that's going up right near the Great Lakes. And I am not comfortable with that whatsoever. Mm-hmm. So because it is such a mess. So. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that would be fascinating. How did we get this resource, and how do we protect this resource? So we continue to have history.
which would be super cool.
Yeah.
All right, Ann Brothers, I believe this is
your job, Jenny. That could be your job.
I would love that job. I'm like, yeah. All right, Ann, this is your last question. Mm-hmm. If there was one thing that you could go back in time and experience based on what we learned, what would it be? And I think you kind of maybe talked about it here a second ago.
Well, of course, I would want to be on one of the steamers that came up from Chicago, so I could play shuffleboard on the boat, and I could order my sardine sandwich, and my glass of tomato juice, and I could wear my big beautiful hat, and again 4 costume changes, and
your culottes, your cool boat culottes,
my cool boat culottes, and dancing on the boat, and then so I would love to take that boat ride between Chicago and South Haven and just be one of those posh people that, is like on the staircase, the beautiful grand staircase in my lovely gown as I enjoy my time there, as I get ready to dazzle all the men with my fabulousness and dance the summer away. So that's what I would do.
Very good. I love that for you.
Not be on a commercial fishing boat.
I didn't think that you would pick that one. I did not think that, I know, Anne will want to be on the commercial fishing boat. I already knew the answer to that when I asked the question.
And though I thought the Friends Goodwill is a fascinating, beautiful, amazing ship, I do not want to move cargo from one part of the Great Lake to another part of a Great Lake, because that seems also, because it was funny because there was no what do they call the kitchen on the boat? I can't remember now, but there's no
galley. There was no galley.
Yeah, there was no galley, so they're pretty much eating cheese and bread, which is fine. I'm in for that, But I'm just like, oh, this seems like detasseling in a boat.
Well, because I was looking at, there's no mechanical anything on the boat. Everything is done with ropes. The biggest innovation they had was their big rolly, their pulley system that they have where you take your stick and somebody jams their foot on that thing to keep it from unraveling. I'm like, well, that seems like a good way to lose a foot. But
that's what I thought too. And I was like, I wonder how many footless people are around,
Like, So, but I'm like looking at this. I'm like, God, just the manpower that you need to make this thing. Oh, I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, and we're going to power that with cheese and nuts. Yay!
Yeah, exactly. And there's only 3 dudes on the boat. Yeah, so nobody gets to sleep,
So. Well, no, and that was the other thing is I was like, looking around, I'm like, there's a place to poop on this boat,
Exactly. I have a feeling your back end is hanging over the side. So I was like,
Yep.
I'm not afraid to tell you that I'm a girly girl and I like
I'm well domesticated. I am a domesticated. I don't like pooping outside, and I do not like pooping on a boat. So
yeah, exactly. So I'm a house cat. So yeah, whatever's beautiful and fun, that's what I want to do. And if I have to go back in time, I want to do that.
All right, the last question. This is my last question.
Would you go back to the Michigan Maritime Museum, and why?
Yes. Yes, I would. Well, because it's neat and there's more to see. B, because I just really like the vibe there. And I just want to sit by the fire and read a book and drink my coffee that I got down the street and then wander next door at lunch to Captain Lou's and have some perch that I didn't have last time. And I just really like being around it. I just want to be there. It's neat. I like being around the water. I want to take a boat ride again. I don't care which boat. It could literally be any boat because I like being on a boat. It's nice. Other people's boats. So yeah, I would definitely go back. I like you, have a membership. So yeah, and it's nice because I live a little bit closer. I'm within an hour.
Right.
So
yeah, so that's not,
going back.
I keep thinking like I want to go back in the winter, and even though I can't go on a boat ride in the winter, I can still experience that museum and the beauty of it, and then sit and have some coffee and go have some lunch. So it's just like it's a place where you want to be. So that's
you do. I found myself, and like I said, we didn't plan on spending the day there, but we were there all day. We got there about, I don't know, a few minutes after they opened.
At 10, we got there a little after 10.
Right, and we stayed until 3. We stayed until we left. We came back. We left. We came back, and it was fantastic. So yeah, it was awesome. Yeah.
It was super fun. We loved it.
It was super fun. So if you are interested in going to the Michigan Maritime Museum, then you should know that it is at 260 Dyckman Avenue in South Haven. It is open 7 days a week from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. And
that's their summer hours. So that will change because that will. I think they go down to 4 days a week in the winter. So right now they're still at 7 days a week, but they will go down to 4 days a week very soon.
So just keep your heads up for that. Heads up. So you'll want to definitely go to MichiganMaritimeMuseum.org, and that has all the information you need. It has all the information as far as the history, what they have available, their boat rides, prices, availabilities, and of course their hours. So you should definitely do that first. And if you have questions, you should 100% call the museum with questions about if you're taking a boat ride, what to wear, what to think about, that sort of thing. They also have Dramamine in their gift shop if you need it. Yay.
Exactly. Because you might.
You never know.
You never know. So
That is 100% true.
Mhm.
All right, people. And I think we did a nice job taking questions and answers about the Michigan Maritime Museum and kind of talking about our visit.
Yeah.
So well done, everybody.
Mhm.
You spent an hour or so with us, 54 minutes and 13 seconds at this point, and you learned things about stuff today. You learned about our visit to the Michigan Maritime Museum and the fun times that we had there. We answered some questions. We did our things. It was good. Thanks for sticking with us. Just know that we want to hear from you. Answer our poll questions, leave comments, give us your questions, concerns, comments, and confessions.
Mm. Yeah.
That's right. So there you go. Remember, you can support the Brother Sisters for absolutely free. All you have to do is like, follow, subscribe, leave a review. Spotify, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music are all the places that you can find us. Please ask Alexa to play us. You could probably ask Siri too. I don't have an Apple phone, so I haven't asked Siri to play us, but I bet she would. She seems like a nice lady. So
Yeah, she seems
there you
like a
go.
cool chick.
Yes.
Mhm.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and turn this music on.
Mhm.
Oh, wait, that's the wrong music.
Oh, I was
Sorry.
going to say.
That's the wrong music. I got to use this music. There it is. Hey, join us next week when we review the uplifting, feel-good movie of the year, The Long Walk.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So until then, watch the Emmys tonight. Go Jeff Hiller. I'm Janice Brothers, and with me is my sister.
And brothers.
That's right. And we want you to get out there and do something smart, do something dumb, do something fun. We are out of here.